Hi. I'm supposed to be doing stuff, and I don't want to. Instead, I want to do a reading. And I'm mainly just trying things out right now with a couple of different decks. So, okay, I guess we'll start. Princess of Cups. Oh. Princess of Swords. And Three of Pentacles. So, receiving a message from somebody who's been watching you, like communication coming in from someone who's already been wanting to communicate with you to maybe collaborate on something. Three of Pentacles has people working together on stuff. Usually, we're working with the universe to make something. Oh, jeez. Queen of Pentacles and Justice. Okay, so self-worth and boundaries and respect and good career life. Something that's been really going on, that's been like, the thing that's been going on has really been messing with you. It's almost like you've been stuck in a web of other people's drama. And then the brown feather showing you that, you know, the energy is grounded into justice. So the communications, good or bad, and immature or wise, however the communication has been, that's been the main factor of it has been that it's immature. Because a knight would usually be more, I don't know, quicker to the point, more experienced. Princess or page, you know, or prince kind of communication is usually, in most cases when I do readings, it's internal. So this being just a draft reading for, like, if I'm ever going to post this, there's communication from an internal part of you that's coming to you, or has already come to you, that you didn't really want to hear. You didn't want to know something about yourself, but it was brought to you in a loving way, and now you're looking at it thinking, okay, well, what can I do with this? So you begin to work with the universe and your fears, your hopes, and your dreams on what you actually want to do with this. So you could have seen yourself in a completely different way in the last 24 hours that has gotten you to move in a different direction in life and to actually create something with your talents instead of, you know, this justice card being there. I mean, in a way, it says that the thing you found out about yourself, this communication that happened in a loving way that taught you and showed you something about you, has you wanting to communicate about it. Because the sword is down right here where she's learning about this herself. And in here it's up where she's learned the lesson and she's balanced the scales and she's ready to move forward. With wisdom, grounded energy, and a complete view of the web that the spider's woven. I don't know if you can see it from there, but there's a spider. Focus. Thank you. See? Hi, Charlotte. Charlotte's Web. And there's a bunny right there. And, you know, there's a lot of little furry animals in this spread. Except in this one. This has an animal in it. This has 2 in it. This has 1. This has 1. This has 1. This one doesn't. So whatever the communication is or was that came to you in the last 12 hours, basically from sunrise to sunset, some point where the sun was still up. It's from a higher mind within you. It's kind of like the maiden turning into a mother. And in that stage of going from maiden to seeing the truth and then acting as the adult version of yourself. Oh, because look, that's cute. That's super cute. I didn't even notice that. She's all grown up to be the queen, and she's all grown up to be justice. And the work they put in together created a better future for both of them together. That's really cool. So this changes the story a lot, even more in a different way. Someone you knew in your childhood that was very logical, very spontaneous and fun and curious, and they didn't really, like, their emotions were as ever changing as the wind. It was just in and out. Like, there wasn't anything very, you know, the friend you go to when you want to have a serious conversation, and then the friend you go to when you want to have like 10,000 conversations that are all kind of serious, but none of them are really that important. But talking about all of them is like, you just solved the world's problems in that 10 minutes where you spoke about 10,000 things. Like, that's that energy, this little, is there a Disney character I can relate this to? Because it's the energy without a face, and if it had a face to give you, it would show you better for you to comprehend it. It's kind of like Timon and Pumbaa, like that's what I'm being shown. Or if this was Scooby-Doo, it'd be Daphne and Velma. If this was like Gilligan's Island, it would be Marianne and Ginger. If this was the Golden Girls, this would be Blanche. And this would be Dorothy in her young years. And then this is like older and older, you know, in their mother years. And then in their maiden years, this would be the Empress, and this would be transformation, death, maybe temperance, actually. So this friendship between these two, it could also be seen as like Jean Grey and Psylocke. Very cute. And if each pentacle is a decade, then you've known this person for almost 30 decades, or 30 years. It's in a multiplicative of 3. And they say cats have 9 lives. So maybe from 9 months to 3 years at minimum. There's definitely been at least 1 full season between you two, or 1 full calendar year. Summer, winter, fall, spring. The sun is rising, the sun is set. The sun is like early morning, early evening, like just before the sun's about to set right here. This is like, if it's east to west, this would be like what, 5, 6 o'clock. The sun's almost down at the horizon. And the sky is pink over here, which means it's, you know, just after dawn or just before dusk. There's a lot of one day things here, like 24 hours. But if in these 24 hours, it's telling me about this whole story that happened that could have lasted almost 30 years, or even 3 lifetimes. Because each star right here within the circle is a balance of all 5 elements: earth, air, fire, water, and the 5th you can look at as light or spirit. Lily, do not jump on this table, darling. Do not do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, I don't think she's gonna do it. No! Do not jump on this table right now, Lily. Come here. Come on. You can't jump on this table, I'm sorry. You sit on my lap. Wanna say hi to the camera? Wanna? She's right here. No! Do not get on this table, Lily. No! You can't. There's a spread of cards on here. You can stay right here. Excuse the feline interruption. Apparently there's unfinished business. Lily. I got all cards. I did. Okay, so Source, why is this message coming out? Or rather, before we get to the why, is there anything else that we need to know about this? 6 cards, I mean, even if I break this down numerically, or... So, what is this? Why this story? A friendship that's lasted decades, new beginnings between the two, one that has seen 2 people mature over time and through experience, through one's compassion and the other one's logic. Together they became the best of themselves. Through like wisdom right here, and then joy and curiosity, and oh, how cute! They became the best of each other because they've emulated the other one. This one, like, she's, you know, very autumn and oranges and stuff. Like, it reminds me of an owl because of like the owl right here, kind of dusty and orange, and then this one has the gray bunny, which is kind of the color scheme of this one. Like this, if I was going to put a little animal image to the Princess of Swords, it would be the bunny. And if I was going to put one to the energy on this, it would be an owl. And you have an owl here and a bunny here. And then keeping them from this, you know, new beginning is this web that was woven. But the work they put into their friendship with each other is going to help them move forward. And this one shared its wisdom with this one, which helped this one become fair and just. And this one shared its fun and joyfulness and curiosity and spontaneity, following the rabbit hole into, you know, digging deeper into everything, having one foot always kind of unstable, solid ground, head in the clouds, feet firmly planted on the ground. So this one became a better Queen of Pentacles, with better versions of self-respect due to seeing things with a more higher perspective. This one became better in justice and honor and dignity and integrity because she used the heartfelt wisdom that she learned from her childhood friend. So why tell me about these 2 people? What's the outcome of these 2? Not the, you know, cheat sheet, but the best advice to give this reading for the best outcome. Because this is a really important friendship. Ooh. Ooh. The King of Cups. And the Lovers. Oh, seriously? Because of the friendship of these two people, the love in the relationship that must have been in some way, shape, or form this thing that kept people from moving forward. Because of this friendship, this thing that could have been a separation between the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Cups brings them back together. This justice that was gained from the compassion learned allows for the new beginning with the King and Queen rejoining. Look at that. It's even the King and Queen right there. Brown hair, blonde hair. Well, kind of blonde hair. Or it could be this one. Basically, it's just role reversal. Did the Queen of Pentacles help the, Queen of Swords get to a new beginning with the person who melted her heart? Or did the Queen of Swords character evolve into a fair, just person to help the Queen of Pentacles realize she doesn't need that many boundaries and it's okay to let love in? Because this seems like such a beautiful spread, right? But these cards wouldn't be here unless there was massive amounts of trauma and tower moments and swords involved that are being asked to move away from. And the King of Cups can be a very cold-hearted person. But because there's a dog behind him, a harp next to him, and fishes in the sea, it's a very abundant, prosperous King of Cups. And he's smiling, looking at the Lovers, and then there's the doe, gentleness and grace right there. And then a disturbed looking statue over there, kind of going blah. Now, this isn't about someone being, it's not about an affair. It doesn't seem that way. It's not about a third party. It's not about, fear energy type of things. All that stuff's done and over with. Even if there ever was or wasn't, affairs or third parties, that's completely irrelevant. As the reader, do I sense that? No, I don't. Especially with this card that just flipped out backwards. Somebody tried to be a tramp and they couldn't. That horse came right back to the stable. Look at it. He's like all sorts of going right back around to this opportunity with this new beginning to work things out. Because in working together with the Three of Pentacles, these two people bring out the best in each other, the most authentic, youthful version of each other. And regardless of which way they go or how they look or how they try to balance things out, the moment one of them attempts to leave the bond, life brings them right back again. It's like a fated union. But in order for this union to work properly, because as you notice, the only passion sign or, wands card really is this Prince of Wands, which means he has the Ace of Wands, the opportunity for a passionate new beginning to create something in his grasp. So wherever this Prince of Wands went, because it seems like somebody left, went on this adventure to find themselves, while this other person sat in the background, you know, observing, watching, and, you know, having a drink once in a while. This like love story of this one person happening within themselves, to where the masculine and the feminine come together within. So if you're not looking at this as other people, and you're looking at this as three basic people, or two people, and justice being the energy, the Lover's card would be the masculine and the feminine within coming together in gentleness, in union and harmony, with a doe, a deer right there, and the flowers, and, you know, the snake around the egg down here. And I think it's the Celtic calendar, where we're in the period of, I think they call it Imbolc, or Imbolc, spring, where winter's over and we're already in the spring. Which seems fitting. I mean, can you hear it outside? The snow's melting, the birds are singing, everything's really sunny and happy out there. I mean, it's nice. So this reunion, this springtime of the inner self, maturing from this gentle, you know, childish version of self to the mature, best possible outcome type of energy. I mean, if you're the Page of Swords, you really kind of want to be the Justice card, and then from that you want to move up. So in order to get to the best of yourself, you have to bring both sides of you together, whether it's the light or the dark, or you're, you know, balancing your ego, your lower sex drives, your the things of the flesh. You handled it with grace because of the lessons learned in childhood, and then you applied those lessons in your you know, when things started getting dark in your life, and you had to enforce your boundaries and your self-respect and find your self-value again. It brought justice to the things that were going on inside you. All the while, there was someone on the outskirts really rooting for you. A happy dog, chilled out, a beautiful harp. Have you heard music from a harp ever? Highly suggested. You know, beautiful fishes, all this land in the background. This person was just waiting for this. He was waiting for this inner union of masculine and feminine to create a completion within the person, to bring a sense of balance within the self, to ground that energy, and to complete the web, complete the story of the self. This could also be looked at as someone had a neural network damage of some kind, and in order to be their fully functioning self again, they had to reconnect, you know, certain parts of the hemispheres or parts of the brain. The wiring had to be reconnected and balanced so that normal thought process could continue again and progress forward could be made. This can be looked at in a lot of different ways. But the story, the thread that connects it all remains the same. Wisdom and intellect maturing together. This could even be about somebody being a female and then, like, being born with female genitalia and then evolving to, or growing into a transitioning to a male. The colors change in this one. Brown hair, blonde hair, and then it's two people. So this person in your life, you guys could have both been, you know, had female genitalia in your childhood. And now one of you has male genitalia and the other one is female, and you've kind of matched up sexually in that way. I mean, you can match up sexually in a lot of ways, but this seems like a really destined union between people. It's very sweet. It's very romantic and like a movie. This is really cute. So what's the most likely and what's the best way to get the viewers watching this to their best possible outcome with this story in their life, for the most benevolent way for it to apply in their own life? Serenade. Really? Is there anything else? Because that's some strange advice to give to people. Yeah? Cernunnos is usually the devil card in other tarot decks. In this Druidcraft tarot, it's Cernunnos, the male aspect to the Mother Earth, basically. Really? The High Priest, which is the Hierophant, and Cernunnos, which is the devil. So the light and the dark within the self. So your advice to get to the best and most benevolent outcome of the story, however it applies to you in your life, is to embrace your light and dark. This symbol he's making right there, that one, is an old ancient symbol to ward off evil. The sun in this one is high noon, so everything's super clear and bright and vivid. The bird from this page, Princess of Swords, is here at his feet. Swords in the cup, so mind and emotion both working together, feet grounded, prosperity and abundance all around you. Someone could be getting married. And I mentioned the Empress earlier, and the bottom of the deck is the Lord, which is the Emperor. This is a sacred union. Two people split up. A lot of stuff happened that required a lot of justice to take place. Scales had to be balanced on a universal, multiversal, multi-timeline kind of way. Like, things got really messed up between two people. And one person sat on the outskirts and watched it all happen. Not in a bad way, but in a way like you're your best friend cheering for you from the bleachers. Except this person wasn't cheering. They waited with a smile on their face. Like tears in their eyes and a smile on their face. Going like, you can do it. I know you can do it. While this male and female aspect of the self combined. And through the union of the inner self of your male and female side, the harmony of it, you find peace to where the lesser urges of the world become actually the complete opposite of the devil card. Honestly, this is beautiful. They're not imprisoned. They're resting in a forest. This character here, Cernunnos, isn't trying to hurt them. It's pure sexual energy, creation energy itself, the force of nature. And there's so much light around it. Like there's only gentleness, there's no harm, there's only peace between them. And their union is being blessed not only by the Earth Father, the mortal realms, the Earth Mother, but by justice itself. Like everything is rooting for you. And if you follow the fingers here, the 2 points to the inner self, the pages, princesses, the basic startup of the courts, the court cards. You could be dealing with something legal, by the way, and it's going to work out in your favor. Just FYI, if you were dealing with anything that involves a court. He's pointing to your inner self, the most innocent, childlike version of you. That's what's going to help you. Balance your light and dark, balance your inner child, balance your inner adult, balance your inner energies. Union is here for you, it really is. And all that's being asked of you is balance your energies. It doesn't matter if you've done terrible things, it doesn't matter if you've done a life of great things. Be at peace in the harmony of what you are now. It doesn't matter what you will be or what you were. It doesn't matter if you like doing weird, the devil card, the Diablo card. It's very, if you look at it sexually, it's very kinky. It's very like bondage type of things. It doesn't matter if you like that or if you like complete, boring, mundane, traditional, missionary, the boring, plain, just derp. It doesn't matter. This is 2 complete extremes of one scale. The lesser urges, the higher urges. Who's to say which one is good? You bring them both together and it triggers a new beginning. So if this is about you and your significant other, maybe it's time to spice up your sex life, your intimate life. If this is just about you, yourself, maybe it's time you give yourself an edge. Change your haircut, change your makeup, wear a different shade of lipstick. If you're a more masculine person, wear something more edgy. Get some rings that light up because they absorb sunlight. Something called a carbon ring. Get something to accentuate your authentic self and bring it out. When you were a kid, okay, how many of you played those games when you were a kid where you would throw fireballs and you would make the sound? Where you had a bow and arrow and you would, shoot it and then you're pew pew and you're making all these cool noises and you're role playing your life as if it's the best life you ever had. Do you remember playing those games when you were 6, 7, 8, make-believe? When you were playing hide and seek and you were hiding from a massive dinosaur, it wasn't, your best friend. That inner child of you is the key to you finding balance to your entire life. Whatever is going on mentally, so if you have any clinical stuff going on in your mind, it's connected to your inner child. If you're having issues in life, finances, business, home life, environment, everything involving your day-to-day roots, webs, connections, the grocery store, mailman, neighbors, your cat, the mice in the walls, everything would be at its highest vibration if you would just connect with your inner child again and allow your shadow to have its word gracefully. So if you're oh, I don't know, you like cupcakes, and you don't want to constantly be eating cupcakes. Well, maybe if you just bake yourself a cupcake once a week and decorate it however you want and embellish it and go completely overboard with that cupcake, but communicate to yourself hey, all the sugar isn't good for me. So maybe once in a while, instead of all this sugary cupcake, we can do a more vegan type of cupcake and more organic and just, take off all the excess of it and bring it to its basic, fundamental birthday suit self. Whatever problem you've had can be reversed all the way back to its core. And what the core is that you haven't been paying attention to your inner child. And it's time to balance the scales so that you can come into harmony with yourself, to where this person that's been wanting to be with you isn't being kept out of your circle of life because of things you're embarrassed about, things you feel guilty about, or you feel shamed about, or things that society has told you you can't really, like, oh, you know, that's for boys and that's for girls, or that's for housewives and that's for husbands. Like, none of that matters. None of that matters. The people you were when you were children are usually the people sabotaging your life as adults. Just FYI. Excuse my stomach rumbling. I am so hungry. I have been putting off everything today. Oh my God. Why am I doing this right now? I love reading cards. I don't know. I just love reading cards. Okay, so bottom of the deck being the Emperor, and then the Seven of Wands underneath the Emperor. Princess of Wands and the Four of Wands and the King of Wands. Okay, so all of the action that's going to take place in your relationship happens after you make peace with your shadow and light self. Because until you make peace with it, you're just going constantly back to the new beginning to keep trying again. But the key to move forward into a union that is blessed by the earth and the sky is for you to really be the best adult. Look, be the best adult to your inner child. It's almost as if we all hold a puzzle piece to ourselves in every aspect of our lives. So I'm holding a puzzle piece right now for the version of me 10 years from now, who might have something to deal with, and then they, you know, I remember at that point, oh, well, when I was living in this apartment doing card readings, that's when this issue started, or that's when this issue was given up. And then if I keep this aspect of me, like if I write it down in a journal, what I'm accomplishing each day and what I'm grateful for, looking back at it, I can see from the writing and my expression of self, Page of Swords, Page of Cups, expression of your inner self, you know, where I was mentally, emotionally, physically, and how I moved forward and progressed to get to where I would be at that point. Whereas if I was missing this piece and I didn't, you know, this would be completely different. A heartfelt communication to work together with someone without the curiosity, the joy, the laughter, the fun, the really thinking things through in a deep blue ocean kind of way, not just mentally, but also emotionally. A balance of all of it instead of just emotions leading the way. It's the mind and the heart working together. Okay. Anything else? Because I think I've just pretty much written a book in this video. Twice over. Singer of the Chalice. Okay, really? 1 and 2 is 3. Expression of the self and how you do it. 2 and 5 is 7. Relationships, faith. The 7th house, I don't really know exactly which one it is. I think it has to do with relationships in the Vedic charts a bit. I don't know much about astrology. I don't even pretend to know. I remember people talking about it, about the 7th house being important for the relationships. Like romantic relationships. 1, 4, and 7. I don't know. Maybe it's something for you to research. 1, 4, 7. So the love is there, the fairy godmother energy coming in, regardless of what happens. When you're like, whoa, this just got way better than I thought it would. That's that energy. So that energy comes into this entire story with the thing that fills the Ace of Cups, basically. This pure love energy that flows through the entire chakra system, expressing itself through the arms, into the ground, and into the sky, but from your heart center. The apple and the pearl, the wisdom and the intellect being exchanged from one person to the next. We were just talking about this. How she gives this one the wisdom and she gives this one the intelligence to be the best versions of themselves so that they can come into union. So everything's going to work out, really, and all you're being asked to do is that. Leave the past in the past. 3 + 8 is 11. Move forward into union together. Singer of intuition, because you have all the knowledge and information already to build a stable foundation. An 8, to go into the cycle of your next cycle, basically. You're being shown